Philadelphia Eagles are once again right at the center of the NFL spotlight. And with the 2025 draft just around the corner, all eyes are locked on what moves this franchise could make. The front office has already made headlines with some telling comments that hint at potential trades and a strategic mindset that seems to align with their aggressive history during draft season. As we move closer to the draft, the buzz around the Eagles only grows louder. And if the past is any indication, we're likely to see at least one big move coming from Philly. Now, let's talk about how things are shaping up. There's already a highly detailed mock draft out, projecting picks for the first 3 rounds. These predictions, based on analysis from respected voices around the league, offer some insight into the team's mindset. But as always, we know Philly likes to keep their cards close to the chest until it's go time. The NFL draft kicks off on April 24th, and the first round always brings surprises. The following day, April 25th, we'll get the second and third rounds, which often carry some of the most strategic picks. Then we head into Saturday, April 26th, where things wrap up from the 4th to the 7th rounds. That's a marathon of scouting, selecting, and strategic maneuvering, and for a team like the Eagles, who always seem to be one step ahead, this is where the real work begins. Inside the team's facilities, the front office recently sat down with the media and addressed some key topics. One of the more striking admissions was that the Eagles do not have 32 players graded as true first-round talents in this year's draft class. That's a rare thing to hear from this organization, and it says a lot about the unique makeup of this draft pool. There was also some hesitation when it came to discussing the 5th-year option for a certain player entering his 4th season. The deadline for that decision is May 1st, and while nothing's been confirmed yet, opting in would guarantee another year of control under a rookie deal, something that could be a huge asset in terms of roster flexibility and cap management. The coaching staff, meanwhile, was asked about their criteria for selecting tight ends, especially considering that the team has hosted several of them during their top 30 visits and interacted with others at the Combine in Indianapolis. The head coach made it clear that they're looking for the complete package: size, strength, physicality, speed, and endurance. That lines up well with what's available in this year's draft, which happens to be a deep and talented class for the tight end position. There's been a lot of speculation connecting Philly to a standout prospect out of LSU. And based on what we've seen, it wouldn't be shocking to see them make a move if that player starts to slide. Speaking of trades, the general manager has always leaned into an aggressive approach. That's part of the DNA of this team's leadership, taking calculated risks when the right opportunity presents itself. And honestly, when you look at his track record, it's hard to argue with the results. From last-minute draft day trades to major player acquisitions, this is a franchise that doesn't sit back and wait for things to happen. They go out and make things happen. The GM has often pointed out that having the support of the ownership is what allows him to be bold. The owner has consistently backed these moves, signing off on big contracts and approving trades that strengthen the roster, even when it means parting with valuable picks. The receipts are there. In 2023, they moved up to grab Jalen Carter, a game-changing defensive force. A year earlier, in 2022, the team climbed the board to select Jordan Davis, and on that same night, shocked the league by swinging a trade with the Tennessee Titans for A.J. Brown, giving him a contract extension the moment he arrived. In 2021, the Eagles maneuvered their way to land Devonta Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. In 2020, they added Darius Slay and extended his deal, turning a position of weakness into a clear strength. Even going further back, this team has always been active. In 2019, they traded up to grab Andre Dillard. In 2018, they moved down and still landed Dallas Goedert, passing up on the 32nd pick, which eventually became Lamar Jackson. In 2017, they traded for Tim Jernigan, who became a key starter on the Super Bowl-winning squad. In 2016, they were on the move again, trading up twice to land Carson, went 2nd overall, right after Jared Goff. And in 2014, they traded for Darren Sproles, one of the most dynamic offensive weapons of that era. It's a pattern. When Philly sees a player they want, they go after him. Now, let's talk about what happened just last year. The Eagles made 8 trades during the draft, tying an NFL record. One of those moves was climbing up in the second round to grab Cooper DeJean, who quickly became a vital piece of the league's top-ranked defense. His breakout came right after the bye week, and he didn't look back. In the Super Bowl, he made headlines again with a pick-six against a veteran quarterback, on that quarterback's birthday, no less. It's that kind of impact from draft day trades that makes the Eagles so dangerous every single April. Looking ahead, there are 5 prospects that stand out as potential trade-up targets for Philadelphia. These players not only match team needs, but also fit their identity and system perfectly. One of them is a dominant defensive tackle out of Mississippi, a guy who could step in and replace a key starter right away. There are also edge rushers being scouted from multiple programs, including a freak athlete who posted insane numbers in agility drills and tested off the charts. One safety stands out as a high IQ player with great range who could be the answer after losing a key piece from last year's secondary. There's also an offensive lineman who is rising fast in the rankings, someone capable of playing multiple spots across the line. He comes from a powerhouse program and ranks as the top interior offensive lineman in this class, although he's versatile enough to shift around depending on need. If any of these players start slipping into the early 20s, don't be surprised if the Eagles pull the trigger and make a move to go get their guy. That's just who they are, and the draft capital they have gives them the flexibility to act quickly. That draft capital? It's no joke. The Eagles hold the 32nd pick in the first round, the 64th in the second, and the 96th in the third. That's already a solid start. But they also own a 4th-round pick from Detroit, sitting at 134 overall. And then there's the 5th round, where Philly absolutely loaded up. They've got 4 picks there, giving them plenty of ammo to move up, move down, or package deals as they see fit. And don't forget, they've still got their own 7th-rounder in play. Add it all up, and the Eagles are armed to the teeth. They can use these picks to build for the future with young talent locked into affordable rookie contracts, or they can use them to swing for the fences and bring in proven veterans. Either way, the path they choose is going to make noise, and with a front office that thrives in these high-stakes environments, fans should expect fireworks. And while we're talking about options, let's not forget about the 2026 draft picks. That's where things get even more interesting. The Eagles already hold 5 selections in the first 3 rounds for that class. Yeah, 5. They've got their own 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounders, a 3rd-round pick from another team via trade, and a projected compensatory 3rd-round selection. That kind of draft capital doesn't just give you flexibility, it gives you leverage. Whether it's jumping up the board for a can't-miss prospect or dealing for a veteran who fits an immediate need, Philadelphia is in an enviable position. Zooming back into the present, the team also owns its own 5th-round pick this year, plus another one from a trade with the Texans. They picked up an additional compensatory 5th-rounder related to a player who signed with the Rams. And on top of that, they've still got their own 7th-round selection. That's a huge stockpile of picks within the first 5 rounds. And in today's NFL, that's where you find real value. Those early to mid-rounds are where teams can build sustainable success by drafting talented young players who could develop into starters while being cost-controlled for 4 to 5 years. Now, whether the Eagles use all these picks to bolster their own roster or flip them in trades is still up in the air. But the history, the philosophy, and the pattern all point to one thing: action. The front office doesn't sit idle. If the right player is on the board or the right deal presents itself, they will pounce. There's also been talk about a potential day 3 trade for a veteran. It's not guaranteed, but the signs are there. A deal like that wouldn't be shocking at all, especially considering the Super Bowl caliber roster this team already has. Adding depth, filling in weak spots, or even upgrading certain units could give Philly an even greater edge going into the next season. And when you have a war chest of picks, those trades become not only possible, but probable. You can feel the energy building around this team. Philadelphia has always been a franchise that thrives in the chaos of draft week. With a front office that's bold, a head coach who doesn't always get the credit he deserves, and a talented roster that's already proven itself at the highest level, the Eagles are once again in a prime position to shape the draft rather than just participate in it. And let's not ignore the whispers around the league about other players possibly being on the trade block. There's buzz about a high-profile name potentially being moved, but the question is, does that fit Philly's current strategy? Going after a big-name veteran who's still performing at a high level but might be on the older side could disrupt the team's long-term plans. It's not out of the question, but it would need to be the perfect scenario. That said, nothing is off the table. The flexibility they have is what makes everything possible. The coaching staff and front office have built a roster that can compete right now, but also be sustained into the future. They've managed the cap, drafted wisely, and made smart free agent signings. The key now is how they use these upcoming opportunities, not just to maintain where they are, but to push the needle even further. One of the more underrated aspects of this organization is how in sync the decision-makers are. You don't see public disagreements. You don't see drama. What you do see is a unified front that's consistently pushing to improve the roster and make bold but calculated moves. And when you combine that unity with the resources they've amassed, it's a recipe for continued success. As for the specific prospects they might be targeting in a trade-up scenario, the defensive tackle from Mississippi seems like an ideal candidate. He checks every box: strong, athletic, disruptive, and able to step into a major role immediately. Another name making the rounds is an edge rusher who might not have the prototypical size, but has elite burst and motor. His college tape shows him wrecking plays in both the pass and run game. There's also a hybrid defensive lineman who's climbing draft boards fast. He played tackle at a big-time program, but is projected to move inside at the next level. His strength, footwork, and football IQ make him a prime candidate to be a long-term fixture on the line, and Philly could use another anchor up front. One name that keeps popping up in conversations is a safety with incredible instincts and range. The Eagles have shown interest in that position, especially after losing some key contributors from last year's secondary. A safety like this could come in and compete for a starting role from day one, and his versatility allows him to play in multiple sub-packages, which is huge in today's NFL. And while some players may not hit all the athletic measurables the team traditionally values, their production in college speaks volumes. Sometimes it's not just about the 40 time or the bench press, it's about the tape. And there are a few guys in this draft whose tape screams NFL ready, even if the raw numbers don't wow you. Ultimately, this draft could go in 100 different directions, and that's what makes it so exciting. With so many picks in hand and a clear identity as a franchise that's not afraid to pull the trigger, Philadelphia is set up to be one of the most intriguing teams to watch when the draft kicks off. Whether they trade up, trade back, stand pat, or bring in a veteran, one thing's for sure: this team isn't going to fade into the background. They've got the ammunition, the vision, and the track record to make things happen. And if history has taught us anything, it's that when the Eagles are active during draft week, the entire league takes notice. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. That's the question echoing through every corner of the football world as rumors swirl around what could become the most sensational move of the offseason: the potential acquisition of Justin Jefferson by the Philadelphia Eagles. Fans, analysts, and even rival players are holding their breath as whispers from inside the league hint that the Birds might be on the verge of pulling off a historic blockbuster trade. With Jefferson already under a massive contract through 2028, many wonder, why would the Vikings even consider letting go of their generational talent? But in the NFL, money talks, egos clash, and no one is ever truly off the table. The noise began with a cryptic tweet from an Eagles executive, followed by Jefferson himself posting an eagle emoji late at night, which, in today's digital age, might as well be a signed letter of intent. But the real fuel to the fire came from inside league circles. Multiple insiders have confirmed that Philadelphia has made aggressive inquiries about Jefferson's availability, and while no formal offers have been disclosed, sources suggest the Eagles are willing to part with multiple first-round picks and a high-profile defensive starter. With Jalen Hurts locked in, A.J. Brown already in the lineup, and Devon Smith extending soon, adding Jefferson would instantly give the Eagles the most dangerous receiving core in NFL history. Jefferson, at just 25, is rewriting the NFL record books with every season. After signing a $140 million extension last year, the richest deal ever for a non-quarterback, the belief was that Minnesota had secured their superstar for the long haul. But turmoil behind the scenes may have shifted the landscape. The Vikings front office is reportedly divided over the team's direction following a disappointing playoff exit, and some insiders say there's growing concern about the long-term cap flexibility with so much money tied up in one receiver. That financial tension, coupled with Jefferson's desire to compete for a Super Bowl now, has given the Eagles a narrow window to strike. For Philadelphia, the move would be more than just a power play. It would be a seismic shift in the balance of the NFC. After coming up short in the playoffs again, the front office has made it clear second place is no longer acceptable. The Birds have been quietly clearing cap space and restructuring contracts, and now it all makes sense. Adding Jefferson would not only give Jalen Hurts a transcendent weapon, it would also send a chilling message to every contender. We're not here to compete. We're here to dominate. And in a league where the margin for error is razor thin, this kind of boldness could be the difference between heartbreak and a Lombardi. There's a reason Justin Jefferson has already carved his name into the NFL's elite at such a young age. His route running is nothing short of surgical. Defenders are often left grasping at air as he cuts with fluid precision across the field. His hands are magnets, capable of pulling down contested catches in double or even triple coverage. And his football IQ, rarely seen in receivers under 30, allows him to exploit even the most complex defensive schemes with ease. Whether it's burning a cornerback deep or picking apart a zone from the slot, Jefferson is the kind of player who tilts the field every time he lines up. Beyond the stats, and those stats are historic, what truly sets Jefferson apart is his consistency under pressure. He shines brightest in the biggest moments, delivering game-changing plays when it matters most. His performances in clutch games have become legend, and his ability to bounce back from adversity, like his 6-game touchdown drought in 2024 followed by back-to-back dominant outings, speaks volumes about his mental toughness and competitive fire. This isn't just a star wideout. This is a leader, a tone setter, and the kind of player who brings swagger and belief to an entire locker room. And that's exactly what Nick Serriani saw in him. According to sources close to the organization, it was Serriani himself who personally advocated for the Jefferson pursuit, calling him a franchise changer during internal discussions. The Eagles' head coach, known for his offensive creativity and emphasis on culture, reportedly views Jefferson as the perfect complement to his system. A dynamic threat who can be used across multiple formations, creating constant mismatches and keeping defenses off balance. For Serriani, Jefferson isn't just another star. He's the piece that could elevate this offense into unstoppable territory. Sirianni's fingerprints have been all over the Eagles' rise in recent years, and if this move happens, it will be a signature moment in his tenure. More than just an XS and OS decision, the push for Jefferson is about identity. It signals a commitment to aggression, to winning now, and to building a roster that doesn't just aim for playoff contention, but championship domination. In Jefferson, Serriani sees not only unmatched talent, but the embodiment of the mentality he wants his team to live by: bold, relentless, and absolutely electric. Of course, nothing is official yet, but as the speculation grows louder and the pieces begin to fall into place, the football world is bracing for a potential mega deal. If Jefferson does land in Philly, it would mark one of the most stunning player moves in recent memory, a true "did that just happen" moment. One thing is certain: if the Eagles pull this off, Sundays at Lincoln Financial Field will never be the same again. Stay tuned. This story is far from over. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.